rim and I saw the bodies of terrorists. And I said, how can the terrorists get here? But they're already fighting inside. So I got to this operation room and I saw an empty room. There were just chairs and tables, and that's it. And we're supposed to manage and to control all of our forces from an empty room. So by the time there got some other officers that came by, and I said, okay, well, I need to use my cellular. I took out of my pocket my cellular, and I saw about many calls that I didn't got. And I said, who are they? Usually, just my wife calling me on Thursday so many times because I forgot to buy this and for that, so I need to go back to the grocery store. But where are all of these numbers? Another call came, and a woman, her name is Miri, told me, Yaron, there is a guy, his name Amir, we're working together, he gave me your phone number. My daughter, she's on the top of a tree, she climbed a tree, she's hiding there. All of the terrorists are on the ground, and she sent me her location, send someone to save her. What? What are you talking about? Second call came in, a guy, his name Shai Levi. He's the military commentator of one of the Israeli channels, and we are good friends. Told me, Yaron, I'm holding the handle of the door. He's from Kibbutz Nirim. The terrorist trying to open it. Send someone to save us. And then another guy called me that he got my phone number because he's sending it to many people, not because I'm the operation officer. I'm from Kibbutz Mefarsim. And the next call was from some officer from the commando unit that he said, I came from my house, I just took some soldier, I found some soldier, we want to get in, send us somewhere. Where should we start? So I sent one of my officers that he came from his house to. His name is Eli Dimentman, and I will explain later why I mention his name. Well, listen, you should take a marker and just start to write on the windows every place, every unit that we're sending, so we will know where we send every group of soldiers. And a couple of hours later, I just took a step back and I looked on the window, all of the windows, actually it was the windows all over, and I couldn't believe how many places. I think that the first time that I start to understand the picture of what's happening is when I took a step back and I look about all of the windows and the list of the villages and the places and army positions that we send units to help them. And then around 7 p.m. in the evening, my commander came, this guy, Owen, and I asked him, I didn't know that he's in the party, that he's fighting there. I told him, Owen, where have you been? And he couldn't talk. His face were white. He got into the bathroom, he locked himself. After 20 minutes, he came out, held me in my shoulder and said, we have to start to work, we have to save people. I told him that what we were doing in the last hours. Where have you been? I told him, listen, Owen, I have to go back to the Gaza Division Base Command. We cannot work from here. We're just using our cellulars. That's not the way to work. And he told me, are you crazy? They're going to kill you on the way back, on the way to the base. There are many terrorists all over the way. And I told him, I don't care. I'm going to use my car. I'm going there. I asked, who want to join me? Eli Dimentman, this officer that I was mentioned, he said, I'm coming with you. And he jumped to the car and said, Lenny, you can come with me. Your brother murdered just 10 months ago in a terror attack in the north of Judah and Samaria. You're going to stay here. And he told me, listen, you know, you're my commander in reserve. I'm in reserve. You cannot give me real orders. I'm coming. And I'm staying here. Seriously. And then two officers, two girls, in the age of 23, 24, that already retired from the IDF, they're in reserve, jumped to the car too and said, we are coming. And I told them, you're not coming. Eli told them, you're not coming. And I gave him the same answer. You know, you're not our real officer, commander, we're in reserve, we're coming. And I told them, listen, you know, I'm not sure that we're gonna get to the base. There are many terrorists on the way. They said, this is our mission right now. And I asked Eli, are you sure that you want to come after what happened to your brother? And he told me, Yaron, I can't save my brother, but I can save other brothers. That's the answer that he gave me. We start to drive. Usually it's a road that takes like 15 minutes to get back to the Gaza Division Base Command. And I was shocked. As I was leaving this base, the Urim base, I started to drive just between bodies and vehicle, bodies of the terrorists, bodies of the soldiers, bodies of civilians. I was shocked. I couldn't even imagine in my life that one day I will see a picture like that. 3 days later, I was using the same road and I took with my phone a video of how they look like, but without the bodies. Wait. Now just try. Now you have that.
Jesus.
This is 232?
Yeah,
The next day?
3 days later. Now, I don't know if you can imagine, but just try to imagine how it looked like with all of the bodies on the ground. So I got into the base, shocked. I got into the operation room, and we start just to work like a machine. We had three main missions. The first one to block the way out of all of the terrorists that want to go back to Gaza while they are kidnapping civilians and soldiers. So we need to use a drone, we need to use helicopters, we need to use airplane. Some of our officers were talking with the helicopters pilots just with the cellular. Second, it was to evacuate all of the Israelis that were still in the villages because there were still terrorists inside. If we're taking Be'eri and Kfar Aza, for example, the terrorist was there 2-3 days later. There was hiding in many places. It is a very big place and a lot of warehouses that they were hiding there. And the third is to try and to locate all of the terrorists that were still there, waiting to the emergency forces and all of the emergency, and waiting to our attack, that all of our soldiers will come and to attack us from behind. So they're preparing. They brought with them a lot of equipment just to stay, to hide in the area, and there was waiting to a counter-offensive to attack us from behind. So the last terrorist that we found was 1 month later. He was hiding in an avocado plane, was just eating avocado for full months and drinking water from the pipes. 5:30 in the morning, my commander tell me, listen, I want you to go and to rest. 2 hours, 3 hours, I wanted to go back, to come back after 2-3 hours, I need you here. And I said, okay, I went to my car, but I couldn't rest. All of my adrenaline in my body, and I said, I have to go to help someone. First of all, I'm a warrior. I need to fight. I can't be just in the operation room. So I took my car, just by myself, and I started to drive to get into the villages, into the kibbutzim. In every place that I got, unfortunately, there was no one to save. In one point, I felt like I'm like in one big like a vision that it's not real. I fell on my knees and I started to vomit. I couldn't believe what I saw. One of the guys there helped me, took me to the car, and I drove back to the Gaza Division Base Command. I got in the operation room. 3 hours later, my commander sent me to another mission, told me, listen, I want you to go to one of the bases. It's called Se'elim, the center of the ground forces training base, to start to cooperate with them the next missions. On my way there, it was the first time that I saw the picture of victory. So you probably ask yourself, what kind of picture of a victory you saw? If there was still a terrorist in the villages, in the kibbutzim, all of the bodies still on the ground. It's It's horrible what's going on. How can you see a picture of victory? On the way there, sorry, I saw a line of cars. Thousands of soldiers. Thousands of soldiers in there that belong to a reserve unit came by themselves. Nobody asked them to come. Nobody sent them a message. Nobody talked with them. They just took their private cars and they come. And I look at that and I was shocked again. Everybody just came by myself, and I'm talking with you about 300,000 soldiers. ראית את זה? Do you see? You've been in this line. And I was standing and I saw this line, and I was thinking to myself about the words that I'm saying every Shabbat night. But I never give real attention to these words. Itna'ari ma'afar kumi. Stand up from the dust. Stand up from the dust. Even as a society, before October 7th, we've been deep in the dust. Divided society with a lot of argument, clash with each other. Everybody felt here deep in the dust, no matter what side you take. And especially in October 7th, that was very in the deepest place of the dust. And now, when all the soldiers coming by themselves, this is the point of, you say, we are standing from the dust. Livshi bigdei tifartech ami. Wear the uniform of the nation. What is the uniform of the nation? I never thought about it. If there is a uniform of the nation that everybody agree, everybody is going to buy in Gap or Old Navy, or the uniform. The uniform are the only, the clothes that everybody wear and coming together, and in the same point that you wear the uniform, everybody become equal. Al Yad ben Ishai bet Alachmi, the same like King David. So what is so special about King David? King David have second name, as they mentioned in the Talmud. Adino Ha'etzni, the gentle of the wood. What is it? King David in his personal life just want to live a gentle life, like every one of us. Want to raise his kids, want to sit in the Shabbat dinner with his kids, want to travel. We want a gentle life. Every one of us want a gentle life. Who wants war? Who wants to see a vision of killing? We want a gentle life, but once you were getting into a war, to a fight, he was strong like a wood. This is exactly the Israeli, the Jewish society. We were never willing to a war, we weren't willing to a fight, we never are willing to see a black sheep. But if we need to stand on our foot and to fight, we are strong like a wood. Korva el nafshi gala. And then the redemption is coming close. What is the redemption? Does the redemption is like a vision of something? No, the redemption is where we coming close. When we becoming one unit, maybe we're not the same. Maybe we're very, very different, but we are one unit together. This is the redemption. This is the real redemption when we all together. A couple of weeks later, 1 week later after, actually, I saw the second vision of victory. I went, I was driving to some other, other base, military base. And in one of the places, they built So what you see here, there was many points like that around Gaza Strip. Many Israelis and Jews from all over the world came to Israel and they build places like that, establish places like that, so to give to the soldier food and socks. And I don't know, tzitzit. What?
Underwear.
It's not that we don't have socks in the army, or uniform, or sandwiches. All of the Israelis, it's a Jewish society that came here, that was standing, you can see like lines of people standing on the road. One of the points like that, they were giving 17 hamburgers per day. Everybody was just want to say, we are here behind you. You can look forward. You can plan. You can fight in Gaza. If you look backward, we are here with you. We are together. Don't look backward. We all are with you together. This is like just an example from my house. Like they're sending around like every Friday hammer, and they taking food that all of the neighbors cooking and sending them. It's almost in every village in Israel, doing like that and sending food to the soldier. So this is like homemade food, so that the soldier will feel better and close and feel the home. Third picture of victory, it was when I get into the attack on the north area of Gaza in Bet Hanun. So I joined to the brigade called Brigade the number 5. This is a reserve brigade. Very good soldiers, all of them infantry. We get into Gaza. This is the Bet Hanun. I'll show you a video. And I wanted to look at this house, and I will explain why later. So we were targeting all of the houses that we know about the intelligence that there are explosive charges inside and terrorists. And then we got to the houses and we were fighting from the houses. I was here. You can see how the soldiers shooting. I took this picture. Now how it's looking in Gaza when our soldiers fighting. You see a bullet that hit just next to me. One of the areas that all of this road was full of explosive charges, and there is tunnels from both sides. And I want to talk with you about this picture and the picture that come later. As you see, there is a sandbag in the window, because every house that we're getting in, usually the first thing that you're doing is to put a sandbag so to protect you. But when I came into the house, when after the soldier came in, the first thing that they did was they took the letters from kids. The kids sent them from all over the world, Jewish kids from all over the world, Israel and out of Israel. When I was in the United States 2 months ago, half of my bag was full of letters that they asked me to give them. And I asked the brigade, the commander, why you're starting with putting this letter on the wall? Why you're not starting with the sandbags? As usual, that's what we usually were doing. So he asked me, Alon, did you saw the order that our commander gave me? It's a notebook of like 30 pages. I said, yes. I didn't look at that. That's not the right order. This is the order. From me, this is the order. And I want all of my soldiers to look on these papers, on these letters, when they're coming inside the house, coming inside and outside, and remember why we are here. We are not here to conquer Gaza. We are not here just because we want to kill as much terrorists. No, we are not here just because we want to fight. We are here to take care, not about the day after Gaza, because about the generation after Gaza. I care about these kids, my kids, your kids. I want my soldier to remember that this is the reason why we are here. And I was thinking to myself about this song. This is just a short As you see, I have a very lyric personality. There is a song that Chaim Nachman Bialik wrote exactly 120 years ago. It's called Be'ir HaHariga, the city of the death, the city of the massacre. It happened in Russia, Khmelnytsky, I think, riots, right? Khmelnytsky riots. And I want to show just part. What? Kishinev, right. There was Khmelnytsky also, but Kishinev. So Chaim Nachman Bialik wrote this song. This is just a small part. And if you read all of the song, this is exactly October 7th, except of one line. The line, I will read it in Hebrew and I will show that in English. You can see about the women's, the rapes, the killing. And you can see, okay. And see also under the matzah press and behind the barrels. And now you can see, you can read, he describes how the men's, the husbands, hiding behind the barrels, see their women raped and killed, and they say, please God, Lord of the world, do a miracle, and evil will not come to me. It's rare to me to speak in this setting. We're not there. This is the difference. We are not there anymore. We are not the Jewish that hiding behind the barrels. Yes, it happened, all of these lines. But we are not in this line anymore. We are a generation of victory. We are a generation that go out to fight against our enemies. We are not hiding behind the barrels anymore. That's what happened in the diaspora for 2,000 years. After the exile of Titus, 2,000 years. We were just escaping from one place to another place, hiding beyond the barrels and hiding behind the houses. Yeah? That's what we can do. But once we live in Israel, once we have our own country, once we have our own army, we are not there anymore. We're generations that claim for victory, and we were doing that. Yes, it takes time, but we're doing that. Right now, there are soldiers in the north of Gaza, in the south of Gaza, and I can't share with you what's going to happen next. But we're fighting. It will take time, but we are fighting back. We have more time, right? I want to talk with you right now. Yeah, that's what I want to show. We're coming back. But I want to talk with you right now about perspective and to finish with them. How much time do we have?
We're great on time.
Okay, good. And my point of view of this perspective is something that happened to me personally, that changed the perspective of how I see October 7th and generally cases, bad cases like that. A couple of years ago, when I was, a couple of years ago, I was a company commander, and I was training with my soldier in the north of the Jordan and the Jordan Valley. 7 p.m. at night, my commander. 7 p.m. at night, my commander telling me, "Listen, Yaron, there is a terrorist doing his way to one of our checkpoints." In those days, the terrorist was attacking many of our checkpoints. And if you can take your soldier and go there and try to find him or to make an ambush. I said, yes, no, why not, no problem. I already did it before. I was in a lot of terrorist activities. I was in a lot of clashes with terrorists. Easy busy. Just one terrorist, no problem. I took my soldiers. I went to this checkpoint, and as we were to 7 p.m., it was just a bit dark. I was waiting, and then suddenly I heard a noise of a shooting from the village next to us. This village called Chama. This is agriculture village. And I thought to myself, why there is a shooting from this village? There was no penetrating into Jewish villages before. So why something like that can happen? So I took my car, my vehicle, with my soldiers. We're just four. We drove to this village. We go to the gate, to the enter of the village, and I asked the soldiers that were there, were reserve soldiers, there is something wrong happening here? They said no. Are you sure? They said yes, we're sure. So I said I will check it anyway. I start to drive all around the village, and on my way, someone from the radio told me there is someone they're shooting from the warehouse into the village. It was dark. I said, no, there is a lot of warehouses here. So I stopped the car here, and I say to my soldier, okay, we will leave, and we will shoot together to the warehouse, and we'll see where the terrorists shooting from, and that the way we can locate him, and we will kill him as we did before. And I felt that my soldiers are a bit scared. I said, are you okay? I said, yes. I told him, listen, that's a very easy. And now it's like 7:30 p.m. At 8 p.m. I want to be back in the base to eat dinner. Do you hear me? They said, yes, no problem. So I took him out, we leaned, and I said, okay, I'm counting back, and when I say fire, we will all shoot together. And as I said fire, we start to shoot, and immediately someone shot it from behind. I looked back, and like 2-3 meters, like 6-8 feet behind, someone with an IDF uniform, M16, was just shooting like that at us. And I was saying, stop. I was sure this is a friendly fire, but he didn't stop. And he started to run inside to the village, towards one of the houses. And I tried to run after him to say, why one of our soldiers shooting us? But I felt again and again. I looked at my leg. I said, why? Is there any obstacle here? And I saw that all of my shoes is open. And I said that I shot in my foot. And my driver told me, listen, I shot in my back. And I start to crawl. So this terrorist got to this house, and here, in this balcony, there was a mom and her daughter. Her daughter was in a wheelchair, and they were sitting here, waiting to the dad that will come back from work. And he got into the balcony, shot both of them, and grabbed them into the house and locked the door. That's the mom and the daughter. Yael and Miri Ohana. I start to crawl. I got to this point. I start to climb. Another officer came. He was another officer from another unit. He came from the window. I came from the door. I opened it, and we both shot him, this terrorist, and he died. And I lost my conscience. They took me to the hospital. This is a terrorist. They took me to the hospital. This is me here, and it's a picture from the newspaper on the day after. And I woke up after surgery, opened my eyes. First thing that I see is my dad looking at me like that. Usually, if I open my eyes when I was a youth and I see my dad look at me like that, it means that I made something wrong. Try to remember what's happening and where am I? Say, Dad, what's going on? And he explained me that I'm in the hospital after surgery. And I immediately asked him, what about the mom and the daughter? And he said, unfortunately, they died. And I closed my eyes and I thought to myself, how can it happen to me? How can it happen? How can he shoot me and go and murder a family? I'm supposed to stop him and to kill him. And I took it very, very hard. About 2 weeks later, I started to investigate that. some officers, and they took me in the ambulance to the same village. I was in the wheelchair, and they asked me the same hour, 8 p.m. I was there. Where have you been? Where the terrorists been? Why you decide to do that? Why you decide to do that? And then someone came, stand in front of me, someone from the family, pointed at me, and told me, "You're the commander of the soldiers here?" He said, "Yes." He said, "This is your fault. You didn't come in time." And I was looking at him, and I said, "He's right. This is my fault. I didn't come in time." He expected that the IDF will be there to block between the terrorists to his family. And we haven't been there. And I decided I'm not going back to the army. I'm not skilled enough. I don't deserve to lead the soldiers anymore. I went back to the hospital, and from then they took me home to a couple of weeks of recovery. And then my battalion commander, after a couple of weeks, to my house. There was a new battalion commander, the fired the one that was in this incident. They sent him home, and the brigade commander and division commander, and the new battalion commander came with the paper, the investigation. He told me, "Yaron, listen, look at the papers. You're fine. They say that you're okay. You try to find a terrorist. It can happen." And I said, his name is Jonathan. Jonathan, don't bullshit me. Go back. I don't want to hear that. He came again, second time, and tried to convince me to talk with my wife. And I said, "Jonathan, don't come here again." He came third time. This time, took my dog out, that we cannot come inside the house. And he told me, "Listen, Yaron, I just want to say one thing. I want to send you to a delegation of the army in Europe. It's called Witness in Uniform. You will go there. After 1 week, after it will come, it's take 1 week. Give me your last answer. I will take any answer." And I said, "You know what, okay." So I went with the delegation to Europe, full week. In the end of the week, the commander of the delegation told us, "Listen, we're going to stay 3 more days, but not in Poland, we're going to Italy." He said, "Why?" "Because we wanted to learn about the Jewish battalion that was fighting under the British Army against the Nazis during World War II. I never knew that." And we said, "Why not? Moving from Poland to Italy, changing the Polish food, it's not spicy. Going to eat Italian food, pizza and pasta, that's a better thing to do." So we took a plan, and we landed in the north of Italy, in Ravenna. And from there we took a bus into a village called Fina Faggiana, and we started to walk there as a group, all with the IDF uniform. On our way, an old man started to walk next to us. He was stunned to see a Jewish soldier. And look at us. And he was asking, in a broken English like mine, he was asking, "Are you an IDF? IDF? He said, "Yes." "Jewish? He said, "Yes." And he started to kiss the Israel flag on our shoulder. He moved from one soldier to another and started to kiss the flag. And then he sat on the ground and started to cry. So I gathered around him and tried to help him to stand up. And as he was standing up, all of his anger turned into early sadness turned into an anger. And he started to shout at us, "Where have you been? Why you didn't come in time? Why you didn't come in time?" So what are you talking about? If you're coming in time, my entire family was still alive. Who can come in time? There was no Israel wasn't establishing. There was no IDF. And as you probably know, even those that could come in time didn't want to come in time to save the Jewish. The Jewish people were nothing. Nobody would care about them. Was care about them. It was very hard. We went back to Israel, and I told to my commander, "I'm taking this company again." About 10 months later, I'm practicing again with my soldier, again in the almost next to the same place, called a base called Tevetz, in the north of the Jordan Valley. 4 a.m. in the morning, my commander wake me up saying, "Listen, there is 2 terrorists. One is doing his way to a military base, and the other is doing his way to a village called Pkaot, not so far away from Hamra. Maybe 5-10 minutes drive. Go there. This time, I was in another state of mind. I start with saying Tehillim. I said, God, please be with me this time. Last time I was thinking that all of the strange is coming from me. It's not about me. Please be with me. המלמד ידיי לקרב, אצבעותיי למלחמה. God would teach my hand how to fight and how to manage war and how to fight in a war. That's in the Tehillim. And I was driving there. I got to the enter of this village. I sent some of the soldiers inside the village, and I went from another place. I was walking in a very high bushes. It was April, like after the winter, and I could hear the microphone speakers inside the village says, "Lock yourselves, go out. There is a terrorist inside the village." And I could imagine what's going on in there. How people are terrified. And I walked with my Bedouin guy that is just trying to find his trails, his food tracks. And you're watching the food trucks, and we're walking on after the food trucks, and immediately, suddenly we saw this terrorist leaning, but with his back to us. He was sure that we come from other place. This time, he was with his back to us. And we shot him, and we killed him. And a couple of hours later, after we make sure that there is no terrorist in the area, I went back to the village, to this village Pkaot. I stand in front of my soldiers, and this is the newspaper from the day later about what happened there. So I was standing. It's another picture of me like standing in front of my soldier, but it was almost the same like that, like standing in front of my soldiers and like making a short debrief about what happened. And as I was talking with the soldier, I felt someone touching my shoulder. I looked back and I saw a woman coming with her baby, with a plastic bag with candies for the soldier. And she asked me, "Are you the commander of the soldiers?" She said, "Yes." She said, "I want to say thank you." I said, "Thank you for what?" So she said, "You came just in time." And when she said these words, I felt like someone is slapping me. And I say to myself, of course we came in time. Because now we have an army to the Jewish people. And when we have an army to the Jewish people, we will be there in time. Maybe not immediately like happened in October 7th, but in the end of the day, we are there. We are not hiding behind the birds. We are coming and we're fighting. And we're coming to Israel to support the soldier and to support the society here. We are coming. We're not escaping it. And I was thinking to myself, this is the troubles of a nation that is have his own land. This is not a trouble of nation in the exile. This is sometimes we have a trouble here that we need to hug. To say, thank you, God, for having this Israel. Or for dealing with these troubles. And not dealing with the trouble of nation in the diaspora. With no nation, without Israel. So my message to you, first of all, during your tour, look about everything in the right perspective. Think about you, about your families, about the Jewish history, and about the histories that will be right after 7 October. And ask yourself, every one of you, where should I be right in time? Because after what happened to me, I'm asking myself day after day, where should I be today just in time? Sometimes in the dishes, when I'm in the house. Yeah, sometimes in the dishes, sometimes in the army. But every day with the skills that God gave me, where my strength, with my abilities, where should I be just in time? Thank you very much.